Extra Credit PowerPoint by Priscilla Gutierrez First Hour. The American Civil Rights Movement. How did the Civil Rights Movement start? The Civil Rights Movement began when Rosa Parks refused to cooperate with the segregation law back in December 1st, 1995. Who was first involved? Also, important people involved. The very first person involved was Rosa Parks, then became Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Emmett Till. Of course, there is many other people who were involved, but these are one of the most important people that were involved since the very beginning. What were the objectives of the civil rights movement? The civil rights movement was a struggle by African Americans in the mid 1950s to the late 60s to achieve civil rights equal to those of whites, including equal opportunity in employment, housing, and most importantly, education, as well as the right to vote and the right to equal access to public facilities, and the right to be free of racial discrimination. When was the American Civil Rights Movement? It began in the 1950s and led on to the late 60s, and some of these things related to the civil rights movement are still occurring now in this country and in this century as well. The civil rights movement is a very important thing to many people, more than half of the people that live in the United States of America. Where did it begin and why? It began in Montgomery, Alabama, and it started because Rosa Parks was arrested. She was arrested because she did not want to give her seat up to a white man in the city bus. The man wanted Rosa Parks to get out of her seat so that he can sit, but she refused because she was the one who sat there first. People quickly found out about Rosa Parks' arrest quickly through the African American community. That started a lot of problems, but also helped the way that our country is now. I think that if Rosa Parks would have never done that and stood up for the people, a lot of changes would not have changed, and we would probably still be in the same place as this country was in the 1950s.